So hello everyone, and welcome to the first testing summit here live from Dublin. This is the session Look Behind the Curtain of the ISTQB, and we have wonderful guests here beside my friend Werner Henschelchen, but furthermore we have the president of the ISTQB, Olivier Denoo, and we have we call him living legend. He's the chairman of the UKITB and the host of this conference here, old friend Geoff Thompson. So these are the right people to ask all your questions. You can send us your questions also via the social media channels, and we will give them an answer later on. But we would like to use the chance and the opportunity that we have these guys live here to ask them some questions we got from your previous or we are interested in.
Well, it's great to have you here, and it's the first meeting we are having here after the pandemic. So how did it change, or what is happening here in this week in Dublin? Can you tell a bit more?
Yeah, we're so happy to see people's face again. You know, people real life having these kind of contact together, making the work groups work together, meeting friends after 2 years of isolation, just talking to screens and microphones. So that's a fantastic opportunity and kind of renewal of the organization, I'd say.
Are you satisfied as the host of this first GA after the pandemic? I mean, how many tries you had? It is not the first time.
No. We our first attempt in Dublin was in May 2020. Obviously, 2 months before that, the world went into lockdown. So, but the benefit was we'd actually built everything ready to go. So the organisation was all done. Now, what's interesting is during those 2 years, this hotel literally closed down.
Okay.
So we couldn't do anything to arrange anything. And we were quite worried that by the time it all came back to life again, that what Olivier is explaining would just not work, you know.
Okay.
So it's been very interesting because traditionally in ISTQB meetings, people will book 6 months, 8 months ahead to come. But actually we saw a very different behaviour. We saw people booking and coming out. We saw people a very, very last moment, which has made it very interesting to organise. But what I have really enjoyed looking as a host is watching the people that haven't met each other or have met each other for the first time in 2.5 years. As Olivier says, groups of people sitting, talking, you know, chatting about the world, learning that the person they're now talking to isn't 6 foot tall as they thought they were on the video. They're actually just the same size as them, or they're smaller, yeah? And actually recognising real people rather than photographs, which is lovely. So no, I'm very satisfied. And to be fair, we've got around 100 people here from ISTQB, so which is brilliant because it's the first time really. We did have an ISTQB meeting last year. At the end of last year in Bucharest, which has had a very small number of people attending to it because it was in the middle of the real pandemic, I guess. So this is the first outside pandemic. And we've got about 100 people here in total, which we're really impressed with. We thought we'd probably get 50, so we're really happy, and it's just great. No, we're really loving it.
It's also a commitment, I would say, of the people, right?
Yeah.
We get connected to the family. The world changed after the pandemic. Olivier, could you give us a little bit of insight about the world of ISTQB? So what changed? What was the most, let's say, biggest impact on the business of the people and in our domain? And what you see will stay?
Yep. Well, I think there were two major changes. First of all, we're already an international organization, so we used to work with people all around the world and having online meetings and so on and so forth. But organizing work group jobs during the pandemics, not meeting anymore, physically speaking, was a big change, and we had to reinvent a little bit the rules and the way we work together. That was the first impact. But the biggest impact, all in all, was the way that exams were organized, because due to the pandemics, people could not come to a test center and get an exam done. So we had to reinvent or invent a little bit this way of working, which is what we call the remote proctoring. That was something brand new to the ISTQB, and I think it was a great success because lots of people could still take the exam and business running for the member boards and so on and so forth, just because of that. And I think that this trend will stay because we've seen due to the pandemic that the working habits of people have changed. People do not necessarily meet physically. I'm not talking about the ISTQB here, but even in the industry or in the outside, where people are meeting online, exams are taken online. So we have this cultural change that happened due to the pandemics.
And what is about certification at all? Do you see that the demand, the importance of certification or standardization education will stay or will grow? What is your prognosis on this?
I think, well, we had a dip, of course, at the beginning of the pandemics when the lockdown was there. We had a big dip, and we had to reinvent the whole system, as I said. Now we see that it's catching up, it's taking over, and the business is growing. And I think that loads of people would favor this remote proctoring approach, and probably the business will grow due to that because it's removing some physical barriers. So I think that the demand for certification is still quite high, and at least it is stable, it is catching up, and I guess it will be growing due to that removal of barriers, physical barriers, I guess.
Geoff, you've been involved in a lot of strategic planning of ISTQB, and you are now very much connected with the industry. So content-wise, what is coming next? You can give us a little bit.
You're asking me to release secrets.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's
Sorry,
why we are here, right?
I'm sorry, audience. There are some things I just can't do. So I think we are. This is our first real opportunity to get together as a group of people for 2.5 years. And although we've had conversations about strategy over those 2.5 years, it really hasn't worked as effective. We had a meeting this week, and I think in that one day we achieved more than we achieved in the last 2.5 years because we were together. The conversation can continue after the lights go out. It's that sort of thing. So I think there is change coming. From a product point of view, there'll be new products coming off the production line. We're looking at different ways of working. We're trying to understand more about what the industry wants. We know we've got to move faster to get to market, because our competitors are already, they're doing the same sort of thing. We know we need to market more and we need to educate more our customers as to what it is we can do. Foundation is still our core product. It's still the one that everybody takes. And we're looking at ways of how we can take people on a career path route through the other certificates that are there today and perhaps don't get as much demand as the foundation does. So we're actually looking at how we can show people how that impacts their career, and there's a benefit in doing more than just the foundation. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening in the background, but as I say, I wish I had something really important, really exciting to tell you that is brand new, but we're just at that stage now where we've really probably met for the first time, Olivier, in 2.5 years to actually really focus on what might come next.
So as you see, the audience doesn't necessarily know how the ISTQB is working. So can you tell a little bit more behind the curtain what we are doing here this week?
Oh, yeah, we are working within different work groups. So you have the syllabi work groups start meeting and discussing how to improve the syllabi, because we are in the constant grooming, improvement, development of new or existing syllabi. So these guys are meeting. Then we have other work groups that are peripheral to the core products, I would say, which is a glossary work group. They're working on the new terms, seeing that everything is coherent all about the scheme. We have marketing also thinking of, how are we going to communicate the new product launch, the update of the existing products. So we have loads of work groups here that are meeting for the first time physically since 2 years now. And there are, just spiking brand new ideas and trying to develop the next version of the ISTQB, I'd say.
What is the smaller countries, let's say, you have always new adoptions of countries here. I do not know exactly how many members we have now, 60 something.
67.
67, which is a quite impressive number. Yeah. But is everything equal here, or do you have some bigger boards, older boards, more influence, or is how you are working together with these, let's say, not so experienced communities? I guess the last countries you are adopting were in Africa, I think, or somewhere. So do they have also the chance to work on this, what you just described, strategy and planning and content and something like this?
Exactly. This is also the power of this organization. Everyone can join any meeting at any time and just give their ideas and work with the other groups. Of course, the situation is not the same all over the world, and there are member boards that are there for many years and develop the business, and these brand new boards are developing. So what we're doing to help them is to try to mentor. So you have bigger boards or older boards that are helping them in getting a grip on what we're doing, how we do things, and how to develop the business. Between codes in their own territory, in their own country. Then we try to put them in different work groups so that they can get acquainted with what the ISTQB is doing and how we're doing them. And then behind that, we as exec or experienced speakers like Geoff and the old guys between the
silver surfers, the silver surfers.
The silver surfers. In the ISTQB, we're getting there, taking part in their conference, helping them in growing actually and reaching their market definitely.
How you can assure to the people, to the customers, that the needs and requirements from the industry are adopted into the syllabus and into your content? So how you are working together, how you are collecting the feedback from the industry, that it's really relevant for the market.
Mm-hmm.
How you are working? Could you give us an example a little bit?
Yeah, we have, of course, there's a huge diversity of people in the ISTQB. We have experts from all over the world, so we have a view on what is going on more or less nearly everywhere in the world, and people coming from different industry sectors, different specialists, different experts here and there, and these guys are giving us valuable input about the trends, about what is going on, what is the new hype or the direction in which we should go in the future. We also have some marketing initiatives so as to better understand what the market wants, what the customer wants. And of course, we have these 67 boards that are getting a grip on the local trend and how the market is evolving in different countries, because we have certain maturities. So for instance, maybe foundation is not such a big hype in some countries because it's already had very much adopted, but in the new developing businesses, the new members, foundation is still the first step to go. And so we're building products and product understanding through this feedback that we get from our members.
So Geoff, Olivier is talking about trends. What trends do you see in the field of testing, which are coming up, where we will get new things, topics on?
Well, it's kind of. I think it's kind of plateaued in the last few years, and most of the focus now. A lot of people tell you that everybody's agile, everybody's using DevOps, and it's really how we fit into that world. The reality is, people aren't. They're using the terminology, but they're not necessarily using it everybody's doing their own personal implementation. So our role is about identifying what the core of that activity is, to ensure that people are able to then take what they learn and get certified in and take it into an organization so that they can help them develop. So I think I would say at the moment, still very much in the DevOps world, is kind of it's the conversation, the underlying conversation. In fact, we had the same conversation in our strategy meeting, where what are we doing around DevOps? Where are we at? But I think the community we operate in is quite open with us. Yeah, you as our exam providers will tell us when you see things happening in the world that you think we need to be thinking about. We share with you what we're thinking so that we can compare ideas. And you're closer sometimes to the customers than we are. Yeah, some of us aren't that close to the customers in the same way that you do, because you sell the exams. So I would throw the question back and say, do you see that yourselves? Do you see DevOps as the thing that's really interesting people now? I mean, within DevOps, there's 1,000 things, isn't there? Automation is becoming more important. Sure. All those kind of things that make DevOps work. Artificial intelligence, that's all becoming very important to people. Is that what you see? Where do you see them?
Before Werner's answering this question, we are sending live here from Dublin with Olivier Denoo and Geoff Thompson, Werner Henschelchen and myself. So send us your comments and your questions and remarks via the social media channels. We appreciate your feedback, but also if you have any specific questions, send us. We will forward it to these guys here, and then you will get the answer. Werner, the question was on you. So
sure.
What kind of trends?
I absolutely see it in the same way. So DevOps is surely a trend which is important and big. Artificial intelligence, I think ISTQB brought up something last year. But yes, surely, I think you follow these trends. I think there's also some work done on the field of gaming, which might come during the next years, most probably, right? So we try to follow the trends, but I think out of that, there's a different question coming. So you said that before. You have countries which are not so fast, others are faster. How do you manage that they are on the same speed?
You can't. You have to accept that as Olivier said, there'll be countries that are just starting out, will be very focused on the foundation because that's initiating the knowledge in the environment. So I think we have learned. I think when we started, there were 2 or 3 boards 20 odd years ago. There were 2 or 3 boards that were very advanced. They were already selling a foundation at large volume. There were except lots of people taking it, and then we brought in boards that were new, and we learned that we had to help those boards. So the stronger boards help those boards to develop, but sometimes you have to slow down your development to let them catch up. Yeah, but the way we are today is I think we have a big enough breadth of knowledge base of certificates that mean that wherever you are in your life cycle, whether you're just starting out on the ISTQB journey or you're actually very mature, we have a product that fits. So the really interesting thing I think is that with a lot of the new boards coming in, it helps to keep the ISTQB healthy. They're bringing in new ideas, they're bringing in new challenges that we've never seen or spoken about before. So it's really exciting when a new board joins, bringing in what's happening in Africa, for example, because that's something we don't understand, and we can then adapt and adopt a different approach if we need to. So it's a mixture of all those things really, but generally we understand that we will always have people at different stages of evolution.
So Olivier, it's a very live organization, a lively organization, right? So because people outside sometimes see only the brand ISTQB, but they don't see what is behind. But can you tell a little bit how these groups are working together? Is there only 3 people sitting in the rooms,
No. These are very, very large groups per se. If you consider a group working, there might be some 20 people working on different aspects on marketing. There are 10 people working on each and every syllabi of the ISTQB. So we have loads of people that are meeting from all over the world with different opinion, different cultures, different views on the product, and building the right product, as Geoff said, for what you need. It's really fitting everyone's need, I guess.
But I think the key thing, Olivier, is that all of them are volunteers.
Yes.
So our whole workforce, for want of a better word, volunteer their time to help the industry move forward.
How are you financing that? This trip, this involvement. I mean, most of the people are expert and quite busy, something like this, and actually you're a volunteer. I know that the ISTQB GA General Assembly is, let's say, taking place in different corners of the world. So that is a lot of personal commitment, right?
Yes. There's an awful lot of time that you spend as a voluntary basis on the ISTQB products, and there's a strong commitment. So these people are really nice people to do that just as volunteers.
They give up weekends. I mean, a lot of people will.
Weekends.
So they got not paid for this job.
They don't get paid for the job. No. Obviously, if they're moving to a different country to do we cover the expenses. But fundamentally, they don't get paid a penny. So they do it because they want to help advance the industry.
That's important to know that. What is the motivation for the people here working permanently in this field?
But when we started, Stephan, this is 20 years ago. We were there was no money in the ISTQB. Yet we had 40 people working on the new syllabi, traveling from all over the world to try and make it happen. So it's about commitment and people wanting to have a role in the future of software testing.
And I guess building skills, that was the big thing what you had in mind, right?
Well, and as a syllabus author, when there are 5 other authors, it's funny, you learn. You think you know something, and then when you try and write, we learn something ourselves. So there's a real learning thing for us.
Before we go further into the program here with our testing summit live from Dublin, we need to talk about Ukraine, right? It's a strong member. I just saw the representative of Ukraine here arriving. Very emotional moment to meet him in person. So what is if you describe the ISTQB as a family and strong community and working together, what is the current situation? How ISTQB could support this community? What is the impact of this war in Ukraine to this? I mean, people coming from different fields, are they still working together, or is it also divided into parts, or what?
No, that's not what we see. People are still working together because Yeah, we are volunteers. We are committed to advance the profession. So politics, worldwide politics stays a little bit outside the ISTQB, though you cannot totally neglect that it has an influence. Basically speaking, I want to reinforce the fact that the ISTQB is against all kind of wars or violence wherever it is in the world, and of course definitely in Ukraine situation today. One of the commitment is that we will try to organize a GA, General Assembly, in Ukraine as fast as possible. So these guys will have the possibility when the situation is a little bit stable, let's say, to organize a GA there, and we will broadcast from there.
So the whole ISTQB community will then go to
Ukraine.
Ukraine. So
Yeah.
you can meet the community there. The
Yep.
people might have
Yeah.
a chance to see the ISTQB guys. So that's
And possibly they might benefit from having experts from all over the world to communicate, pipe the business all over again, and organize conference. I don't know what. Everything that will be possible will be done.
Okay, I think we can close this session with this strong commitment that we are staying together, that the ISTQB is staying together, that we are going as soon as we can to Ukraine. We send this message out that we are stay on their side. All
Yeah.
the people fighting for peace. I
Yes.
think also Russia.
Mhm.
We know that people have nothing to do with this war, and that we're also realizing. But the next GA is in fall in Morocco.
Morocco, Marrakesh.
Marrakesh.
Yeah.
So, and we will organizing also a live conference from there, Werner. So,
Yeah, I hope so. So I think together with the ISTQB, stay tuned. But it looks like we might have another ISTQB conference coming up very soon. And so, yeah.
It was a secret.
Okay.
so now we have
It's part of a
now we
club,
have this
which is a
message. We want to
secret,
have
right?
information. So before we get uncovering a lot of other stuff, I would like to thank the president Olivier Denoo and Geoff Thompson.
My pleasure.
my
Have
pleasure.
fun with the program, the whole day, a fully packed program. And again, send us your comments, feedbacks, what we can do better. I really appreciate that. And furthermore, stay healthy. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Thank you.